Capital One hates me. Today, I'm going to share my side of the story and show you a recent example of my experience with them. I'll also cover how you can avoid getting on Capital One's bad side. This includes tips and tricks to increase your chances of approval for your next Capital One credit card application. I want to set you up for success so you don't end up like me. The story begins not too long ago towards the end of 2023. It was around that time that I started to realize that, hey, maybe I should apply for the Capital One Venture X card because now I could see use for it. Yes, I have the Amex Platinum card, which is, till this day, my favorite premium travel card, but I wanted to get experience with the Venture X. After all, it's the credit card that pays you $5 every year to hold on to, right? Well, like what any straight-headed individual would do, I went to Capital One's website, specifically the pre-approval tool, to find out if I was pre-approved for this credit card. Come to find out, not once, but twice, I was not pre-approved for the Venture X. Yes, I waited a few months in between those applications. I didn't just spam back to back hoping for a different answer. At the time, I was disappointed, not upset, but just disappointed. It wasn't until later, which I'll explain in this video, that I became upset. However, after getting denied twice, I thought to myself, well, maybe it's time to relax a little bit. Maybe there's something wrong with me, not with Capital One. So with that, I went on a couple trips to Japan, I went back home to Hawaii, and only around half the time, I was thinking about how those trips could be different, could be better if I had the Venture X right now. And it especially hit me in Japan when I was buying all this random stuff where I could have been earning 2x with the Venture X. But no, I have to use my Chase Sapphire Preferred and earn a jaw-dropping 1x on those purchases instead. Fast forward 4 months or so, I decided it was time for redemption. I'm going back to Capital One and I will try out again for the Venture X. I thought to myself, I've been a good boy. I haven't applied for any credit cards recently and I'm starting to get that urge again. So why not satisfy myself with my very first Capital One card, the Venture X? Surprisingly, Capital One was thinking the same thing because not only did I get approved through the pre-approval tool, but I rushed to the actual application. I sped through, it was a speed run through that application, and what do you know, I was approved. But that's kind of where my luck ended with Capital One. After a few great months with the Venture X credit card, it was about time that I started pairing it up with its long-lost lover, the SavorOne. You've got peanut butter and jelly, you've got lemons and lemonade, you've got the Venture X and the SavorOne. You've probably already heard of the Capital One Savor One because it's only the best no annual fee credit card out there right now, or at least one of the best no annual fee credit cards out there. You get 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and at grocery stores worldwide. That's right, you get 3% back at grocery stores worldwide, not just in the United States. I'm talking to you, American Express, especially the Amex Gold card. You also get a complimentary Uber One membership until November 2024, which I hope Capital One extends, by the way. All of these benefits are yours to have for no annual fee and no foreign transaction fees. Knowing this information and owning the Venture X, I knew I had to get my hands on the SavorOne next. So as you might have already guessed, I went straight back to the familiar territory, aka the Capital One pre-approval tool, and here is kind of how that went. Okay, here we are on the Capital One SavorOne landing page or product page. And I would, be super ballsy and hit the apply now button, see if I am approved or not. But I'm gonna use the see if I'm pre-approved button because why not? It's a soft pull, soft inquiry. So I'm just gonna use it because as I told you before about not getting pre-approved and all that, might as well just show the whole process. Here are the different cards that I am going to check the eligibility for. Doesn't really matter because we're trying to go for the Capital One Savor One specifically. And usually for these things, I just do, I usually do a cashback for the first question. Okay, here's my information. Boom. Blur this one out. There we go. Next, blur this one out too. Okay, but it's just all simple information that you don't know, but I know. Of course, for yourself, you should know that information too. Okay, here we go, self-employed. Again, just enter in whatever is applicable to you in your current situation. Savings, yes. Birth. Are they gonna ask for my mother's maiden name as well? Favorite ice cream when I was a child? Okay, so we did the whole questionnaire. I'm gonna hit see if I'm pre-approved, and it should, because the last time I did it, should say that the Capital One Savor One, there it is. I am pre-approved. So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly review. I'm eligible for 4 cards: Quicksilver rewards, SavorOne rewards, Venture One rewards, and the Platinum MasterCard. But I want to make sure that I'm going to be eligible for the sign-up bonus. So, offer terms, blah, 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 but won't be eligible. Oh, and see, would you look at that? That's why I'm not going to be applying for the Capital One Savor One, is because you'll earn the usual Savor One dining and entertainment rewards. Okay, congrats. It's like saying, okay, here's your credit card and you get the normal categories that you would have, of course, that you wanted to apply for the card in the first place, but you won't be eligible for a new card member bonus cash, so no sign-up bonus, or the 0% intro APR. So it is basically kind of like an Amex pop-up jail. Oops. Which means I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And it's upsetting. And to be fair, this is within, I think, a few months of when I got the Capital One Venture X. Whereas usually from, like, it's anecdotal, but usually 6 months you want to wait in between Capital One inquiries or applications if approved. So this falls well before that 6-month window. Again, it's like July 7th. It's probably 2-3 months max, so it's half that time. So this is something that might happen if you apply for the card within that time frame. So I don't think it's called Amex Pop-Up Jail. Well, I know it's not called Amex Pop-Up Jail. Capital One Pop-Up Jail, perhaps, but I will not be getting this credit card. Overall, it was a bittersweet decision because it says I was approved, but without receiving the sign-up bonus. Of course, that's a bad thing. So I rejected that offer faster than a lactose intolerant rejecting milk. But that's when I came up with the bright idea that what if I applied directly to the card? Will I be eligible for the sign-up bonus then? So here we are. As you just saw, I just quickly hit the apply now button. We're here on the blah, blah, blah. And it says here that I clicked offer terms. It says here that, okay, I am eligible for a bonus offer. I am eligible to earn a one-time $200 cash bonus once you spend $500 on purchases within the first 3 months from accounts opening, right? And of course, you know, I get the same rewards info, same reward category, which should be obvious. And then the intro APR, boom, still there, along with the intro balance transfer APR, boom, still eligible, right? So it looks good so far. But then again, I haven't put in my information. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in my information and let's see if that changes. Hopefully not, but let's see if that changes. Paperless, yes, please. Don't qualify and may consider you for other cards. Cool. So hopefully in the next few buttons or so, it should tell me if I'm not eligible. Okay, so let's see. It's not saying anything yet. So by clicking on the submit application button, random blah blah blah, it contains proof that it is correct. It's okay. Authorize Capital One. Okay, yeah. Nothing so far mentioning the sign-up bonus offer or intro APR. Okay, so I should be good. Hit submit application. Let it do its thing. And I should get a sign-up bonus. Or I should get or I should get denied. If you've ever been denied for a credit card, you'll know it's the worst feeling in the entire world. From personal experience, it's even worse than childbirth. Disclaimer, I wasn't the one giving birth. I was the child being birthed. But being denied by Capital One feels 1,000 times worse than that. However, not all is lost because it's not my first rodeo. I've been denied before, and I've had at least, a handful of times of experience with that. And there's usually one more thing that you could do if you're denied for a credit card to hopefully overturn that decision. Call the reconsideration line.
This call will be monitored and recorded for quality assurance, training, and authentication purposes. Hold on while I transfer you to a representative.
Now we're on the recon line.
That's it. You know, it looks like there's about a 5-minute wait to get to a representative.
In the meantime, let's take guesses, let's take bets as to why I was denied. Was it too many hard inquiries, too many inquiries in a recent period? Was it you just got a Capital One card, why should we give you another one within 3 months? Is it because your name is Chase and you're applying for a Capital One card? Conflict of interest. Is it number 4, your credit history is too new? Or is it number 5, we just don't want to give you a sign-up bonus? My bet is they're going to say I applied for the card or I got approved for the Capital One card, my Venture X, too recently and that I needed to wait. It's too soon together. But leave your guess or think of your guess before. We'll find out the real reason in a few minutes, 5 minutes or so. Hi there, I just applied for a Capital One Savor One and it says that I wasn't able to get approved. So I was just looking to see if I could get a reasoning behind that and also to try and see if I could somehow overturn that, please, today.
First of all, I really appreciate you applying and giving us a call about it. But yeah, let me take a look at the application. Let's see what we can do. So based on the credit record that or credit report that we got from the bureaus, those are the reasons why Capital wasn't able to approve you. But did you mean you wanted to request for reconsideration for this? Is that what you? Is it why you're calling us today?
Yes, please.
Well, I can definitely submit a request for you, of course. And to set expectation, it may or may not be a hard pull. All right.
Okay.
To get the result as well. Apparently, Capital was still unable to approve your application. And you receive another email and letter from Capital One stating why. So in case you think there's something wrong with it or misread your information, then you can always give us a call back.
The reason why I showed you this conversation was not actually to get another decision, but to show you that Capital One doesn't really have a reconsideration line. Sure, you talk to a human representative, but they just simply send your application through that machine again. They just run it through that automated system and call it a reconsideration. At this point, I am upset. Before I share my advice on how to not get denied, like how I just got denied, let's take a look at the reasons why Capital One decided to deny me. Number of bank cards trade lines opened in the last 24 months. There are too many active credit cards based on your loan history. There have been too many recent inquiries. There have been too many recent credit card inquiries. I just burned perfectly good calories from moving my eyes left to right, traveling through those 4 bullet points when in reality, they just needed to tell me 2 things. Capital One is just jealous and is more sensitive than my teeth chewing on ice. Let's set the record straight. In the past 24 months, I've only got 9 more credit cards, and half of them were business cards. And what do you mean too many active credit cards? I only have 18 of them. That's not even the legal drinking age. Capital One is tired of being the side chick. They want to be the main girl. And the funny thing is, I knew this before applying for the Savor One. I knew that getting a Capital One card is harder than getting an Amex Platinum. But what I did not know was that I would fall victim to a bait and switch tactic. Maybe I'm just ignorant, which totally could be the reason why. However, why are you saying I could get pre-approved for a card, but when I actually apply for it, you deny me? Yes, I know pre-approval tools aren't 100%. It's not guaranteed. But that's not going to stop me from ranting on it and making a whole entire YouTube video about my experience. At least American Express has the balls to tell you before you apply that, hey, you're in pop-up jail. You're not going to receive a sign-up bonus. Do you still want to go through with your application? I'd rather know up front as opposed to after wasting a hard inquiry, especially knowing that Capital One is a sour little brat and doesn't want to give me that sign-up bonus, which is, I want to say, 100% the reason why they denied me. So what can you do before you apply for a Capital One credit card to prevent yourself from getting denied and making, once again, an entire video about it? First, I would like to address those of you who are just starting off or who have a relatively new or fresh credit history. You have a higher chance of being approved for a Capital One credit card because you probably don't have a lot of credit cards and you probably don't have a lot of credit card inquiries. You are just Capital One's type. It seems that nowadays when you just start off, you should start with Chase cards and then possibly moving on to Capital One since they're so sensitive. However, if you already have credit cards or if you have a lot of credit card history, what can you do? First and foremost, spread out your inquiries. So if you applied for a credit card or got approved for a credit card, especially a Capital One card, wait at least 6 months before you try applying for another Capital One card. As mentioned earlier, Capital One is very inquiry sensitive, so you definitely want to spread out those applications before applying for one of their cards. This also goes for approved cards within the last 24 months. I don't have a set number as to how many cards you should have opened in the past 24 months before Capital One denies you, like how Chase has the 524 rule. But what I can say is anything over 5 cards is probably not going to help your case. Capital One is really picky and thinks everyone and their mom is a churner. They're probably not wrong half the time, but just keep that in mind if you're trying to rack up those Capital One sign-up bonuses. I have also heard on the street that Capital One likes people who carry a balance month to month. I think that's a horrible idea, and if you purposely carry a balance month to month with the hopes of getting approved for a Capital One credit card, I respectfully think that you're delusional. Don't carry a balance month to month. Overall, if you're looking to pick up a Capital One credit card, don't have applied for a bunch of cards in the recent past, and I hope you didn't open a bunch of cards within the past year or so. More than most other banks, with Capital One, you just need to have patience and time. Space out those applications, space out those approvals, and you should improve your odds on getting that new Capital One card. As for me, I think I'm just gonna hold on to my current cards for the next 3 months or so, which is when I'm gonna try again for the Capital One Savor One. Hopefully next time I get a different decision. And if you wanna know why I changed my mind about the Venture X, watch this video here. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Yes, I still like Capital One. I'll see you in the next video. Shoot.